Hi everybody, if anybody's watching. So I'm just going to continue on this map that I'm creating for our clients, which will show the location of all the various things around the town. So yeah, I'm just going to work away on this and draw as I go. I'll be using Google Maps here as well, just so that I can reference the location from time to time. First part of the map I've done is the building down by the quay, and probably one of the most prominent buildings. I'm just going to zoom up here for a second, or move the camera up, shall I say, so you can see where it is on the actual map. So it's the anchor bar, like that, and this is where I'm at with the illustration. So that's friendly kind of style, you know, something to really jump off when they see it in display. There's obviously elements in all these buildings that I won't be able to put in because it'd be just too convoluted. Like maybe I could put in the banners, I'm not too sure, but you know, the sign is just rough idea of what we got to expect here. So you can see it, you see what it looks like there. So I've got to really fill in the rest of this with the detail. So what I'm going to try and do first is get the overall structure of the layout of the streets and work from there. Now I'm going to go into my layers and I'm going to go to building ink. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. Okay, building ink, and go back to pen. I've been using these pens actually. They've been quite good. They're the Frankie brushes, kind of a Frank Miller style brush. So I'm going to try and use the technical pen in this instance here. Okay. So the next building then is just down the road here, and it's the library. So we did note that this is an important enough building. And the library, if we go on, should lead up. Yes, there is the road down the way. So by the looks of it here, I need to just make a little bit more space for it, I think, because the streets are, it's a bigger building, so probably going to be looking at something large enough like that. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in the rough shape of where we're at. I can overlap these a little bit as well because Cox Lane is actually quite small. It's only a small little lane in there, so I don't think it should be getting as much prominence as it is. So I'm just going to leave that like that. Then we have Galway's Lane then. So if I move on down the map, this is the best thing ever about Google Maps, is that sure, no matter where you are in the world, you just have this fantastic ability to be able to just, you know, work with anything. Okay, so we have a Chinese restaurant there, and then we have a smaller little lane next to that, so it's perfect. Same kind of thing. Just build up the building. Kind of work across to get the heights correct. Well, not correct. This is a 2-scale map, or not 2-scale. How would you say? It's a map done in artistic license. So you know, the length of the quay, the size of the buildings will not be what you should expect. You know, it's to give you a fun experience more than anything, so that when you do visit a location, you can go around that location with ease because the map is somewhat accurate to a sense. If you can go down this road, you'll get the A, B, and C, but it's not to scale where you can say, okay, this is the exact length compared to there and there. So the key could be a lot longer than what it actually is, or a lot shorter than what it actually is. Okay, some rough idea of some buildings there. I know the castle is down here, roughly. So let's go down to check where we're at. Yes, that whole area there is a large building. And then we're here where we have Thomas's Lane. So we can have this corner area here, which I can sort of, you can see that there. I'll have to figure that in. So that kind of comes in. The building goes back and in like that. Just take a reference for that. Okay, and then we go down. So on that corner then, the moorings building. So that's another tall building. Across. Get a rough idea of what we're talking about here. Down. If I just zoom out, oops, zoomed out too far. So next to the moorings then is the actual castle itself. So the moorings kind of breaks off, and then we have the castle itself, which goes around the corner here. So the castle meanders around. Like so. I'll have to work in with this and go back in a little bit more nitty gritty on what I was doing there, but let me zoom out a smidge more and just see the makeup of the castle. It's, yeah, it's goes around, and we can see this little guy up here. This little street, Castle Street, is actually a lot bigger than what it should be, or wider than it should be. It's only really small little areas. So okay. Let's just make sure I'm on the right track. I'm going to go up this road here. David's Key. Zoom out again, just make sure that we're, yeah, so Castle Street goes all the way up to Main Street, which is perfect. And the castle kind of goes around like this. This is rough. It's just for my own guidance more than anything. So I'm going to get the castle going around like that. And from here, Key Street and that, we have apartments and things to that extent. I'm just going to finish off that there. Now, back into the map. So that's called Graven Street. Graven's Court here, it looks of it. Castle Street then leads up, and these walls follow, and there's a another set of buildings over here. So I'm just going to build those guys up a bit. Bat Street, New Lane, so there'll be a lot of buildings that will be just kind of nondescript buildings. There won't be anything specific, or there won't be any landmark buildings, so I'm going to just draw those guys um, just basic enough. They're not going to be any major details, those guys at all. Next, what I'll do is for these big chunks, I know this area is not going to be exactly like this. I'm just getting a rough three-dimensional kind of style in, so I can build from that. And what I'll do then is just rub out what is not accurate, extend out things, etc. But these are going to be like the house, the rooftops for this kind of block. So I'm doing in blocks really, and I know that inside that block will be everything will be kind of different, you know what I mean? So I know it's not going to be spot on just as yet. What I'm going to do is get it straight like that and down and so this is like the inside of that block. I'm going to work from there. Okay, that's just rough again. This guy here, I'll go back down to where Bridge Street is, and I'm just going to draw in some more blocks. Believe me, this is the easiest way, or sorry, the more sane way to do this kind of illustration, because there's just so much going on in towns and cities. Like, this is a small town, and I've done a city one before, and it just takes so much time to go back over and recalibrate where the hell you are in the city itself. And so just getting a rough block of places in does make life a little bit easier. Now, I don't even know if this is necessarily the way that these guys are going, but look, it'll give me something to work with when I get to this stage. Okay, so here, so I know that the Grant Square is the big area that we want to highlight as much as possible. So that will have a lot of detail going on in it, stalls and things like that. Now, TFR Street. Okay, so that's another block done. Down here then, same thing. Let's do a big block, frontal kind of area. Let's reiterate again that this will probably change. Okay, here then. So I did a walking recon of this place as well with the client. So really, like, I know the place enough, I suppose, to get around, but I don't know it too well, and the fact that I won't be there every day or anything like that. So it was good to get an on-foot recon of the location, see what was going on, and just kind of get, see how it is currently at the moment, because Google Maps don't always be updated too regularly. So the cinema's just up here then, so I'm going to block there like that, walk across, down, across, down, and across. Okay. Next, more up here, so we'll just move this guy across. So So what I've done with the client is this, I've approved this point with the client of the actual rough location. Everything there is good to go. It's in a findable position. So what I'll do now is I have the freedom at least to know this is correct in that respect. Okay, just bringing it across some more of these buildings. And me writing in those words like that is obviously just placeholder. What I'll do then is when I get to the stage I'm happy with this whole thing, let's illustrate it, I'll then bring it into Photoshop and apply the text, or probably Illustrator. All depends on how I get with it. But it'll be one or the other anyway. And yeah, and go from there, and I can export it from that. Now I could do it all in Procreate, but the problem with Procreate, because I'm working off such a big canvas size, because this is an A3 canvas size, I'm only allowed 11 layers here, so I don't want to keep adding in too many layers that are devoted to things that I could easily do in Photoshop. So that's the reason that I'm doing that. So I'm just going to keep making up these rough building areas here, even though they're not anyway accurate at the moment. It just gives me something to work off when I do actually start drawing in them properly. God damn it. Thank God for coffee. Yeah, this park area here is important, so all that in, and let's keep going. Okay, so what I've decided up here is I'm going to put in the legend, because so I don't really need to worry about too much of that up there. There is another map that needs to go in on this, and that looks like this. So it's actually going to be this exactly, pretty much, and that needs to fit in this map to some extent. So I think the best thing to do is give it this kind of space up here. Now it's the only place I can see really that won't interfere too much. This area down here is probably not as important. There is a church over here I'd like to highlight. Down here is quite important. Up here there's a caravan park and things like that up there that possibly we should keep in as well. So that is the reasoning of putting it there. And what I might do as well is get this area here and just make that into a legend area for, so we'll have our logo, legend, and then that'll be the extra map that needs to go in. That's my plan anyway. Let's see how that pans out. Right, I'm going to keep going. Hopefully you can get an idea of where I'm going with this now. If I turn off that layer below, you can start to see how it's starting to form into something three-dimensional, which is great. So St. Mary's up around this area here is a church. I know that. There's a big church there. So that will more likely go in. And that is an entry point there. There's a few other things there, so I can of course just make that a little bit more appropriate when I get to it. See, this guy's a bit intricate over here. There seems to be a bit of something going on regarding how the layer looks. It could be an awkward one to do, but I'm just going to roughly throw that in for the moment. Could be steps down. I'm not too sure what that is. I can't remember. But again, this area might be covered when I get to it because the legend. So won't worry about that now. Great. A few more of those guys in. Off-tone road. Down here. Now, so that's the roundabout over the bridge. There's a bridge there, and there's a few more roundabouts there. Or is the bridge here? Hold on, now I'll get my bearings. I think the bridge is there actually. But yeah, I need to get out a map and just zoom back. Where are we? We are here. So yeah, the Devonshire Bridge. Yeah, so that's the main bridge. And if I drop this chap here, like that, you can see I'm on the bridge now and looking down into the town there. So that's looking down onto the quay here. So it looks like, yeah, there is the part there that comes out, and there is a kind of a little guy out there, or a guy, a boy, a buoy, whatever you want to say it, that goes out there. Just drawn in. So this bridge then will need to be drawn because it is a recognizable area. Let's just scroll back, just pop down into the quay a little bit here. Now, perfect view of the bridge. There it is there. So I'll try and get that somewhat in. Rough. Now this is going to be rough again. Refine this. Can refine this. show that there's a bridge happening. Okay. Now I'm going to just start drawing in parts of the key and road. See, that's definite area is the key, you know, it's definite area. Excuse me. Okay, drawing in up here, here. Follow this outline. Now, over here is the other side of the river, so follow this line as best as possible. And a lot of those houses on this side and buildings on this side as well, so they will have to go in appropriately. So let's just try and sort that out as best as possible. This is where the church is, as I mentioned. Okay, let's see. Yeah, lots going on there. So starting to take a bit of shape. Take off the color, you can see now how it's looking as well. As you can see, it's really getting three-dimensional. Okay. I mean, I think I'm happy enough with that there now at the moment to bring it to the next stage again. So the next stage will be going from segment to segment and just trying to refine it as best as possible. So what I'll probably do now is work on the key, get that area done up, get up the grand square, and once I have those areas kind of done really to what point I'm happy with, well then I can bring it then forward with a little bit more confidence. So we'll continue this